Are you tired of constantly struggling in your relationships? Perhaps you feel like you just can't seem to connect with others on an emotional level. Well, we have some life-changing information for you. Today, we're going to talk about a powerful tool that can completely transform the way you navigate your relationships. We're talking about emotional intelligence. This is something that many people overlook, but can have a huge impact on their personal and professional lives. But what is it exactly? In a nutshell, emotional intelligence is all about recognizing and managing your emotions, as well as understanding that of others. It involves some key skills, like being aware of your own feelings and being able to express them, using your emotions to help with tasks like thinking and problem solving, and managing emotions, which includes keeping your own in check when needed, and helping others do the same. Emotional intelligence is super important in relationships because it helps avoid codependency. Think about it this way. When someone who's codependent finds out a partner was unfaithful or a close friend betrayed them, they often take it to heart. They might think, oh no, this is all my fault, or feel really rejected. It can cause them to go on a downward spiral, which is unhealthy not only for them but also for the people around them. But when someone has developed enough emotional intelligence, such scenarios won't be intensely devastating to them. Why? They have a solid sense of self, so they don't end up blaming themselves for what a partner or close friend does. Also, they know their worth and that they deserve respect. This mindset helps them see that a friend's or partner's behavior is reflective of that person's character, not about them. Plus, being emotionally intelligent means they got into the relationship knowing there might be letdowns. Not to mention that there's a possibility that their trust may be broken. They've also let go of the usual myth that simply trusting someone means they'll never hurt us. So, when such betrayals happen, they're better equipped to handle it. We're not saying it won't hurt them. It's just that they're able to process their emotions in a healthier way and not let those emotions consume them. The emotionally intelligent commit fully, offering the best of themselves without holding back. This is because they want to feel seen and heard in a relationship. At the same time, they also want the other person to feel seen and heard. Simply put, they aim to nurture and be nurtured equally. And as they cultivate a healthy sense of self, their concern about the other person messing up diminishes. They become more aware that if they love someone and that person cheated on them, it's on that person and not them. This is why, instead of codependency, relationships involving the emotionally intelligent lean towards interdependency. They rely on each other while still maintaining their independence at the same time. And they don't rely on the other for validation and self-worth. That said, being emotionally intelligent means you know your value. In this context, knowing your worth means you're aware that no matter what happens to you, like gaining some weight or dealing with a breakout, you deserve respect. And anyone who wants to be in your life should show you respect, no matter how you look or what your past is like. This is why you're brave enough to tell yourself, I value myself enough to walk away from a relationship where the other person doesn't respect me. Here's something else. Emotional intelligence is all about putting self-love above your love for others. Because when you love someone more than yourself, you might lose perspective and find it hard to stay objective. And when that happens, you might lose your sense of self, which can lead to an unhealthy relationship where there's no reciprocity. That is, you only keep giving while the other person only takes what you give. To be clear, this is not about being selfish. It's more about having empathy and compassion for yourself, not to mention being kind to yourself. After all, we've heard so many stories of people who give up everything for the people they love, only to get very little or nothing in return. And in the end, they feel resentful and unfulfilled in the relationship. You don't want that, right? By the way, make sure to subscribe if you've learned something new today. Now, here's the reality. It's important to understand that when others hurt us, we often take that pain in and think we're to blame. This is especially true if we're dealing with codependency or childhood neglect. We might feel like their actions, like cheating or lying, somehow reflect on us. It's like we did something to cause it, right? But that heavy feeling of responsibility we bear isn't true or fair to us. Remember that we mentioned earlier that the emotionally intelligent know that such actions reflect on others, not them. That's the state of mind you want to develop. So now, let's talk about how you can do just that by honing your emotional intelligence. The key is learning to love and trust yourself, which takes some self-awareness. You see, A lot of folks don't realize that their negative self-talk comes from outside influences. It's not something we're born with. Rather, it's something that's put on us by others. Think about it. As a child, we've never blamed ourselves when something went wrong. Someone else told us that, and it was ingrained in our minds. Our parents may have said that the broken toy was our fault, for example, which is why when something gets broken, we instinctively blame ourselves. In many people, this kind of belief is left unchecked. So, when there's something wrong in a relationship, they're quick to blame themselves even when they're not actually at fault. This is why loving yourself means being aware enough to catch all that self-criticism you keep throwing at yourself. Remember that this habit often starts from feeling rejected or abandoned when you were a kid, and that's not on you. Needless to say, developing emotional intelligence means recognizing and understanding that such negative thoughts about yourself that pop into your head aren't even really yours. So, you've got to identify how you perceive yourself and overcome your misconceptions and unhealthy beliefs so you can tell yourself, I'm worthy and I have value. Emotional intelligence is also about making sure you're happy with yourself before jumping into a new relationship. You want to figure out if you're ready for one in the first place and what kind of relationship you're looking for. This way, if you see it's not going anywhere, you can be upfront about it. And if you're aware that you can't be fully committed to it, you can be honest with yourself and the other person. Being truthful can save both of you a lot of pain, and you give the other person the chance to decide if they want to hone the relationship further with you or not. Developing emotional intelligence is also about being able to trust your beliefs, instincts, emotions, and your own value. Because the more you trust yourself to spot red flags in relationships, the closer you get to finding the right people to build healthy, fulfilling relationships with. Think about it. If you don't trust your emotions and instincts, it's easy to fall for someone who's gaslighting you or manipulating your feelings. You might also become someone's doormat because you're afraid of being alone. But when you've developed emotional intelligence, you love yourself enough to walk away from toxic relationships and make room in your life for healthier ones. After all, you're valuable enough to be surrounded and loved by only the best people. And if you liked this video, then check out these related videos to see more. And make sure to like this video to let the algorithm know you'd like to see more videos like these.